Okay, I made it to the wheel. I got my clay wedged up. It's about a 10-pound ball. I'm gonna throw a larger bowl for you guys. This is Brian Cully Pottery, and we're gonna get stoked on clay. So I'm gonna start off. I pat it around a little bit. Pull up my chair, get comfy. Yeah. So I like to smack it around a bit. Kind of wake it up, you know. I wedged it, so it's pretty woke up, you know. It's like happy to be here and happy to become a big bull. Are you happy? You ready? Huh? You gotta like tell it what to do, right? Okay. Nice clay, nice clay. Here, good clay ball. Good clay ball. So I seal the bottom so the water doesn't go under it. I'm gonna get going on this. Have my little beverage here. Here's one of the mugs from the last firing. Not too bad. I fired a cone 6. I reduced the kiln. I have a gas kiln, so it's nice to be able to reduce it. There we go. So as you can see, when I'm centering, I'm locked in. I got my elbows locked in. I'm really using my whole body, not just my arms. I don't know if you can hear that, but the bat right here, it rocks. And one thing you're learning to throw on bats, you gotta get used to that. It shimmies. Kind of, at first you throw just on the wheel head, no bat, kind of learning, and it's real solid. When you start throwing on bats, or if you just learn on bats, but you know, it's a little weird, but you get used to it. Another thing when I'm centering, I don't go as fast as the wheel can go like that. I'm going as fast as I need to go. Okay, some people say, go as fast as the wheel can turn so you can center. Well, I don't believe that. I think you should just use the speed you need. And I also, I don't really stare at the clay. I kind of just feel it. I don't really look at the clay too much when I'm centering. Always slowly. Don't want to jerk the clay around, right? And since I'm going to make a bowl, or if you're making a plate, you never want to roll the clay out over the sides and catch water in there. So, kind of, you can push down and get that clay to go out. Maybe scrape it a little bit. You know, just be mindful of that. You don't want to trap water under it. Another thing I like to tell people is that our bodies are all built different. So if you see one person centering, your body might not move like that. Your hands might not move like that. So you kind of have to find your own way. You can watch people and see what they're doing, you know, of course, and observe and try their techniques. But if it doesn't work, try to use your hands different. Lock your body in different. Some people are bigger, some people are smaller. So, you know, I'm sitting up kind of high on my chair. You could get a lower chair and be closer to it. Or if you're shorter, a taller chair. So kind of find your place, and just remember that we're all different. So everyone is going to have a different technique to throwing clay, centering clay. And I don't open my clay like that every time. It just matters what I'm throwing. So I change it up. So I'm going to leave this a little thick so I can trim the bottom later. And that's pretty good. It looks like a little over a ½ inch. It'll probably get a little thinner when I compress it, so it should about ½ inch. Be nice for trimming. Okay. So now I'm going to work on getting that the bottom of the bowl, the foundation of the pot. I really think this is the most important part. When you're throwing a big vase, a coffee mug, the very bottom of your pot, it's the foundation like a house. You gotta have a good foundation. So spend a little time on the bottom. You know, make sure it's thick enough. Even a coffee mug, you want to compress it a little bit with your fingers, you know, kind of go over a little bit. Don't leave it all soft. And I'm gonna really press down with this rubber rib here. I like using these black rubber ribs. But yeah, see, I got a little less, so it's perfect. There we go. Good. I'm going to start pulling up the walls. So right there, I re-centered the clay. You're always recentering the clay. Anytime you're pulling up a wall on a cylinder, you want to pinch it and kind of go down the lip. And recenter, recenter, recenter. Again, I'm not really watching my fingers right here. A little bit, and I move around the pot. Maybe I don't look at all. It's always kind of changing. Just feel that clay moving. Gotta get that clay moving. Don't move your hands faster than the bump in the clay is moving, the stretching of it. So I'm gonna bring it up, kind of, and then at the end I'll stretch it out. Because if you keep stretching it here, you're not going to really utilize all the clay that you have. So I'm going to try to get some clay off the bottom here. I'm going to really push in and get a bump going so I can pull it up. Let's try it, see what happens. So sometimes a little clay comes off on your finger. That's okay. Save your clay. Don't waste it. See, I got a whole pile going here. I can wedge that up later and make a coffee mug or something. A lot of process to making clay. So I always tell people, try to conserve it and reuse it. So I got my little bump here. There we go. See how my hand didn't go faster than the clay's moving? I don't want to get it too thin. I don't want to get the lip too thin because when I stretch it, it'll keep getting thinner. So you got to keep some clay. It's getting a little thin already. But I can fix that maybe if I pinch it and compress it. So maybe I can get it to go a little thicker and push that back down. There we go. Let's see. There we go. See, I got it nice and thick again. Push that out. So I got some requests it's around Christmas time right now, and I had a sale on I had a lot of flat bowls, so I think I'm gonna make more mixing bowls, like deeper ones. I didn't have any, and I went by my dad's house and he had some that I'd made years ago, and I was like, wow, I should really make some nice deep mixing bowls for pancake batter or dough or whatever you're gonna do. I don't bake much, but my wife does. So she likes the mixing bowls. And my sister and my dad, they all like to bake, cook stuff. I'm more of a barbecuer. Not always. I eat anything they'll make, actually. So, okay, so yeah, I'm compressing again and just shaping the bottom. It looked like it needed a little work, so, you know, if you see something that needs to be done, you just do it. You don't, there's no like real complete process to making something. Just kind of. And one thing about bowls when I make them, especially when you're learning, you're going to have a bump. You know, you're not going to make them perfect. So make the inside of the bowl perfect. And if there's a bump on the outside, you can trim it off later. So don't try to get both sides perfect. You can, the inside's the most. Sometimes when you bow them out when you're learning, you'll get a bump at the bottom because it's there. So push that out and leave it on the outside and trim it off later. So here we got the metal rib. And I always got a towel. I always dry my hands off. I clean my tools off. The best way to clean a tool, let's say you got this dirty tool right here, right? You dip it in water and you just wipe it. You don't need to go over the sink and waste 5 gallons of water to clean one tool, okay? Let's try to conserve some water. Around where I live, it doesn't rain much, so we really try to conserve water. When I worked at the college, the kids would they'd hold a needle tool under gushing water and be like washing it like this, and it'd drive me crazy. They called me the water Nazi. I was so like, turn off the water, save water. So I try to conserve as much as I can. I think it's important. There you go. I'm using the metal rib. I just do stuff. I don't even think about it anymore. I just start doing it. Okay, so I'm going to use this. It sucks the water and all the sloppy clay off the pot. I love the metal rib. Learn to use this thing. It's great. Look at that. Slippy sloppy. No more. Look at that. Especially if you want to dry your pots out to like work on them later, you want to get rid of all that slop with that metal rib so that it's quicker to dry out. If you leave it on there, it's going to evaporate, right? So just kind of speed up the process, and I think it just kind of stokes out the clay, makes it a little more compressed. It's just all around a good idea. There you go. That's feeling pretty good on the inside. I mean, you could basically leave it like this and then trim it without doing any detail or anything. It looks pretty good, but I think I'm going to mess with it a little bit. I like to mess with them and style them out a little bit. Keep that, like I said, throw to the inside of the bowl. That's pretty good. See, there is that little bump on the inside, kind of right from the floor up. There's a little bump. So I held it up high and I pushed down low and kind of got that bump to go the other way. Now I'm going to clean up down here. Because right now it's going like this. So I want to clean up a little bit so there's not as much trimming. It's got a nice starting point when I go to trim. So I'm going to take that rounded part. I call this the rounded pointed wood tool. I'm sure there's a name for it, but I don't know. I just make it up. Why not? So here we go. So I'm going to just kind of curve down the side. I got all that clay off right there. That's like, it's probably like a pound of clay. Because now I can take that and I can wedge it back up. I don't have to, it's not going to be trimming scraps, right? I can, got my whole pile here. And I just keep adding to it and I wedge it up and make something out of it. So it's like really brought in now. And this tool or this tool, I mean, you can really like push in on a pot and push out and get really like the foot of like rounded pots like really tight once you get good at these tools. Very, very good tools. So then again, I'm going to get that little bump out. So I might use this guy, so there's a little more surface. So there you go. I'm going to, yeah. So I got a little extreme when I did. I took off probably a little more clay than I wanted to. Because I'm doing a demo, sometimes I don't think about it as much. But I mean, it's fine. So if I mess with this anymore, it's gonna want to fall. So I'll probably just put it on the side and let it harden up for a bit. And then I can go out and I can mess with the lip a little bit. I mean, yeah, why rush it? Work on another pot where you're letting this one dry out. And come back to it and do some detail on it. I basically, if it's sunny outside, you know, I use the bat, I cut it, I take it outside on the bat, and I'll put it in the sun, the wind, and I keep turning it every now and then so it dries evenly. And then as soon as the lip's hard enough, I flip the thing over, I take another bat, I put it on top, and I flip them over, I take the other bat off. I always scrape my bats, I never leave clay on my bat. I think it warps them, so I always take that clay off, don't let it dry on there. And I get the bottom dry and I trim it. I was reading on Pottery Heads on Facebook, and people are really having a problem drying out their pots, and they're getting cracks. And I couldn't really figure it out. And people are saying, you know, do it super slow, don't do it in the sun, the wind. And that's how I do it all the time. So I think their bowls maybe are cracking because they're leaving a little wet, they weren't compressing. Maybe they're using way too much water. There's a lot of reasons why things go bad in pottery. So I always stress, like, do whatever you can so that the bad things don't happen. So take that extra time to make the bottom right, compress it, do all those things. In your studio, when you're moving work around, take your time, go slow. Things break, you know. So, all right, till next time. Remember, keep getting stoked on clay, and we'll see you on the next throwing demo. All right.